Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. Ibrahima Konate contract decision nears as Liverpool consider January transfer option. Antoine Semenyo disagreement emerges after statement issued on Liverpool transfer target. Christian Romero charged by FA after Liverpool red card as Tottenham escape fine. Now details. Here we go. While the Premier League ramps up for another hectic festive schedule, even without the usual Boxing Day fare, those with a preference for transfers ahead of tactics are rubbing their hands together at the prospect of another January window opening. And the new year could have a pivotal bearing on both the immediate and long-term future of Liverpool's rearguard. Speaking last week, Reds boss Arne Slot played down the possibility of a new centre-back being recruited next month, despite Liverpool having shown their hand somewhat when coming close to signing Marc Guéhi for £35 million on deadline day in September, only for Crystal Palace to pull the plug at the last minute. That apparent shift in priority is all the more intriguing given the one central defender Liverpool did bring in during the summer, teenager Giovanni Leoni from Parma, was ruled out for the season after injuring his ACL towards the end of his impressive debut in the League Cup win over Southampton in September. Throw in the intermittent availability of Joe Gomez and the current fitness concern over occasional centre-back Wataru Endo, Liverpool have become almost exclusively reliant at the heart of the backline on the long-established partnership of Ibrahima Konate and captain Virgil van Dijk. Indeed, the pairing has started together in every Premier League and Champions League game this season, along with the Community Shield loss to Palace. While the fact Konate and Van Dijk avoided any significant injury concerns during that period will have been a source of relief for Slot, the lack of obvious competition for too often in the season has meant the former in particular has had to play his way back into form after a torrid period, as Liverpool slumped to 9 defeats in 12 in all competitions. As Slot admitted following the tumultuous 3-3 draw at Leeds United earlier this month, Konate has been too much at the crime scene, after the Frenchman blotted his copperbook after a decent display by gifting Leeds the penalty that allowed them back into the game. There have been other mistakes, most notably against PSV Eindhoven, but Konate has had no option but to front up game after game, Liverpool unable to take him out of the firing line. It hasn't been an easy time. But recent evidence suggests the 26-year-old may have turned a corner, impressive in the wins at both Inter and, last weekend, Tottenham Hotspur. Yet if talk over his performance levels may be easing, the debate will now spark over Konate's future and that of the centre-back area in general for Liverpool. With the defender out of contract at the end of the season and talks having reached an impasse over a new deal, from next Thursday he will be able to negotiate with clubs from outside England over a potential free transfer next summer. Real Madrid may have backed away from a possible move, but rumours continue of interest from the likes of Bayern Munich and Paris Saint-Germain. And that doubt over Konate's future will surely influence whether Liverpool make another concerted effort to sign Guéhi in January, albeit mindful they could snap up the player for nothing in 6 months, and that they now face strong competition from the likes of Bayern and Manchester City. That Konate was missing from training on Tuesday ahead of Saturday's Premier League visit of struggling Wolves was an unwanted reminder of the lack of options at centre-back, with Gomez already a confirmed absentee alongside Leoni and Endo. It leaves the prospect of Ryan Gravenberch having to drop in alongside Van Dijk or teenager Welity Lucky, who made his debut against Palace in the League Cup and has been training regularly with the first team of late, being handed a Premier League bow. Fears over his absence serve to underline how Konate remains a vital proponent for Slot, and his next career decision will have ramifications for Liverpool. The clock is ticking on more than just the Frenchman's time at Anfield. Here we go. Antoine Semenyo disagreement emerges after statement issued on Liverpool transfer target. Antoine Semenyo looks set to join Manchester City, and Stephen Warnock believes that could be a good thing for Liverpool. City are in pole position to sign Semenyo after Chelsea cooled their interest in the Bournemouth winger. The Ghana international has also been linked with a move to Anfield in recent months. Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur were also keen to sign the 25-year-old, who has a £65 million release clause in his Bournemouth contract that becomes active next month. Semenyo can play up front and on both wings, and has scored 19 league goals across 2 full campaigns since joining Bournemouth from Bristol City for £10 million in 2023. But former Liverpool defender Warnock has questioned whether a move to Anfield would have been too big of a step up for Semenyo to take. "I think they eventually have to find someone on that right-hand side," he told us Odds. Liverpool.com, Semenyo has been mentioned as a player who potentially could be that player. There is a difference between playing for Bournemouth and Liverpool. We have seen it with Milos Kerkez as well. That was the same scenario. He is the perfect case to look at when it comes to the person and the pressure to be at Liverpool. I like Semenyo. I think he is a brilliant player, and I think he is very capable. But do we know whether he could cope with playing in a Liverpool shirt and providing goals and assists week in, week out? Before the match against Man United, he had played 7 matches without scoring. If he went 7 matches without scoring for Liverpool, things would be a lot different. There would be a pressure on him, especially with the money he would cost. It might be something he embraces, it might be a challenge that would excite him. Maybe he would enjoy that pressure and thrive under that pressure. I like him and he is physically outstanding. I think he suits the Premier League. One thing you have to look at when finding a new player is how quickly he can adapt to the Premier League, and he already knows the Premier League. Everything will just be about how he can adapt playing for Liverpool. However, one former Premier League star who disagrees with Warnock is German Yanez, who claimed earlier this week that Liverpool was the perfect club for Semenyo. Semenyo would be perfect for Liverpool. More than replacing a potential Mo Salah departure, I think it's addressing Luis Diaz's exit, he told 10Bet. I think Cody Gakpo is a little bit predictable at times, and I think someone with a little bit more of a dynamic edge to them down that left-hand side would be good. I also think Spurs would be another good option for Semenyo, but then, who else have you got? He's not going to go to Chelsea, he's not going to go to Manchester City. So yeah, I think Liverpool and Spurs are probably the 2 best options, for him to be looking at. Christian Romero charged by FA after Liverpool red card, as Tottenham escape fine. Christian Romero has been charged by the Football Association following his dismissal in Liverpool's win over Tottenham Hotspur on Saturday. The Spurs captain was shown a second yellow card after kicking out at Ibrahima Konate in second-half stoppage time. However, the FA charge is in relation to his conduct after being shown the red card, with the Argentina international finding himself charged for allegedly failing to leave the pitch promptly and behaving improperly towards referee John Brooks. A statement shared by the official spokesperson for the FA reads, Tottenham Hotspur's Christian Romero has been charged following their Premier League match against Liverpool on Saturday 20 December. It's alleged that he acted in an improper manner by failing to promptly leave the field of play and or behaving in a confrontational and or aggressive manner towards the match referee after being sent off in the 93rd minute. Christian Romero has until Friday 2 January 2026 to respond. Romero is already set to serve a 1-game suspension as a result of his dismissal, and will at least miss Tottenham's match against Crystal Palace on December 28. Spurs boss Thomas Frank took issue with Romero's sending off, suggesting it was the wrong decision following Liverpool's win over Spurs. The second red we got on the wrong end too, said Frank. There's probably a reason why the whole team reacts as they do. Normally, if it's one player reacting, if it's the whole team, probably because there's something about it. I think we all played football enough and seen enough football that there's something probably around that. So I can't see if it's right or wrong that he gives the first yellow. The second yellow, I see 2 big boys competing, Konate absolutely smashing through QT Romero. It's a foul, I'm not saying more. His foot landed on QT's head. Not a yellow, I'm not saying that. QT makes a reaction. I guess it can be given, but also I guess it can be not given. Romero was also involved in both Liverpool goals, gifting the ball to the Reds in midfield for Alexander Isak's opener, before insisting he was fouled by Hugo Ekitike when challenging the Frenchman in the air for the would-be winner. Elsewhere, Spurs narrowly avoided being fined by the FA for ill-discipline in their clash with Liverpool. Action is taken against a club if 6 or more of their players or technical area occupants are either cautioned or sent off in a match, with the club receiving an initial £25,000 fine. Spurs were issued 6 different cards by Brooks, with Frank, Mickey van de Ven and Rodrigo Bentancur also booked, while Xavi Simons received a straight red card in the first half for a late challenge on Virgil van Dijk. But with Romero being issued with 2 yellow cards, 6 or more of their players and staff did not fall foul of officials against Liverpool. The Reds were previously fined by the FA for ill-discipline themselves, following their controversial trip to Tottenham in September 2023. Jurgen Klopp's side saw Curtis Jones controversially shown a straight red card for a foul on Yves Bissouma in the first half in North London, which was upgraded from a yellow card following VAR intervention, while Diogo Jota was dismissed for 2 bookable offences in quick succession after the break. Alexis Mac Allister, Mohamed Salah, Andy Robertson and Virgil van Dijk were also all cautioned, along with assistant manager Peter Krawietz. With such a financial penalty automatic, there was no charge to answer and no statement from the FA.